everyone, and welcome to a new segment on this channel called the Queen's News Update. I'm just going to quickly increase my microphone's volume while I talk. So, this is going to be a weekly segment every Saturday talking about the issues going around the borough of Queens, since our local media just refuses to cover important stories. Some of these stories I would have not known about if I had not checked the Queen's Chronicle website along with the Queen's Courier website. So obviously I've organized this into articles from the Queen's Courier website first, and then of course I'm going to read you the articles from the Queen's Chronicle. So let me just close this tab. I do apologize. Now, this is about my congresswoman here in my congressional district in Fresh Meadows, Grace Ming. She is introducing legislation to block Trump from declaring emergency for the border wall. And of course, we'll get into how this is becoming an environmental issue in Jamaica Bay, because we'll get into that later on. But Congresswoman Grace Ming, of course, represents my district, will be introducing legislation to back on Friday, of course, the 11th. This should be going up on the 12th, of course, to prevent President Donald Trump from declaring a national emergency to build his wall along the United States-Mexico border. The No Walls Act will prohibit the construction of barriers along the United States-Mexico border if national emergencies are declared during government shutdowns. Under the measure, barriers would include fences, wall, and steel slates. The government has particularly been shut down, and of course, as I'm recording this video, and it should be up on Saturday, it will be 21 days, making the longest in United States history, leaving hundreds of thousands of federal workers without a paycheck. The president, who walked out of a White House negotiating session back on Wednesday, January 9th, after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi refused to agree to pay for the wall, reiterating back on Thursday that he may declare a national emergency if Democrats don't give him what he wants. Congresswoman Ming said it's unconsiderable that President Trump is threatening to step aside Congress and declare a fake national emergency in order to build his wall, as funding for the government and more than 800,000 federal workers must hang in the balance. Well, the thing is, the president's not going to sign it, so it's honestly just a waste of time. And honestly, she should be working with the speaker to reopen the government, not pass something silly like this. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, if she's going to help support to open the government, that's one thing. This is interesting. Going to open that tab up in just a second. We'll put that up here if there's any other stories that interest me. Right. I have a Richard Brown article. We'll read that later on. So, next article we're going to get to is, of course, installing the Cadillac of mailboxes along Northeast Queens. Oh, right. Let me open this article up because it was brought up on the news a couple days ago. We'll read that one. Whitestone. What else is interesting here? Yeah, nothing else that we need to read at the moment. Alright, so if you're not aware, here in Queens, we've been having a lot of mail thefts in the past year. It's been making the news a little bit on some of the local stations. I know Channel 2 did a story about it a couple months ago. I just wish Channel 7 would do a story, but they've only done maybe one or two here or there. But Channel 2 did talk about this in Little Neck, where the problems just getting worse with people's mail getting stolen up there in Little Neck. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. This is, of course, based in the 111th precinct. This is a spokesperson for the USPS, Donna Harris. They're providing residents with a catalog of mailboxes. These boxes will feature a small silt as opposed to a larger opening. Small silt. So as you see here, this is from the Bayside Hills Homeowners Association. And as you see here, somebody here is installing the new high security mailbox so that way nobody would consider to even think about stealing more mail, which is of course a federal crime. 3/8 of a high inch, the silts are measured that way in an attempt to prevent mailbox phishing attempts. Harris says that the replacement and retrofitted boxes have already appeared in neighborhoods like Oakland Gardens and Little Neck, but would eventually be coming to all of the 206 of the precinct's mailbox. So yes, this was installed on Springfield Boulevard and 56th Avenue, close to where Queensboro Community College is. And of course, if any college students need to mail something, they'll be very happy to know that this is being changed, so that's excellent news. Alright, the most recent incident of mailbox theft happened, like I said before, and the cases were way worse than Little Neck. The 111 reported an incident that took place back on Wednesday, December 26, 2018 at Northern Boulevard and Little Neck Parkway. Okay, we have this tweet that was sent out back on January 2nd. This is an updated tweet right here. Yes, 42nd Avenue and 203rd Street and Bell Boulevard and Union Turnpike. So that is very alarming. I am hoping that my precinct, thankfully, has not been reporting any incidents of this. Thankfully not. But if it does happen, and I do see something on the Chronicle or the Courier's website, I will let you know. I just want to quickly bash the Queens Tribune. They have not had a new edition printed out since December, and their website isn't even updated. So the only way I'm going to get your news now is from the Courier and the Chronicle at this point. Alright, so now we're going to talk about this story. I know... Let me confirm this. Yeah, I know where this one is. This is the firehouse right by Osdom Hall. And another similar incident was taking place back at the Glen Oaks one. I passed by it like 3 times this week, and I still saw them cleaning it out. So this was about scabies. And it forced the FDNY to close this station once again. Engine number 320, ladder 167 to close for a disinfection. One of the firefighters from Engine Company 320 located at 3618 Francis Lewis Boulevard was diagnosed with scabies, a lice-like infection that causes a mite to burrow into a person's skin and lay eggs, leading to severe itchiness and a pimple-like skin rash. Right, I know another similar incident took place back on, back at the other firehouse in Glen Oaks, so I just want to quickly bring that up. Now we're going to talk about land development. The Casino Center, an 8-story Flushing development that would replace a mini-mall. A new mixed-use development with more than 200 new apartment units might be coming soon to Flushing. Kimco Realty Company, a real estate development based in New Hyde Park, has filed to proposals to construct a new 8-story mixed-use building at 46-15 Casino Boulevard, marketed as the Casino Center. It will replace an existing neighborhood shopping center comprised of multiple 1-story retail business and surface parking lot. Source named New York YIMBY first reported the story. Designed by S9 Agriculture and Ugfung Architects, the casino center would contain rental apartments, a community facility, commercial retail, and a parking structure. The proposed residential area is approximately 244,000 square foot with 244 units. There would be affordable housing. About the first floor, it would set back from rear lot lines, creating an L-shaped structure to accommodate residential terraces. The project would be completed by 2021, pending approval. Alright, so this is interesting right here, huh? It's going to be interesting to see what happens when this gets torn down at Casino Boulevard, that's for sure. Especially if I pass by on the Q17, it's definitely gonna look weird. Now we're going to go to another environmental issue, and this is about the government shutdown, of course. So who is watching Jamaica Bay? That's the question. This is an impact on the Queen's largest park. And of course, this is a federal park, by the way. This is a refugee center off Cross Bay Boulevard and Broad Channel. Has been abandoned by the U.S. Park Service since the dispute cut off funds to score of federal agencies last month. Phone calls are answered with a recording announcements the park's popular trails are open, but the visitor center is not. There are no bathrooms, no classes, and no park rangers. A paper sign taped to the door reads, "Because of a lapse in federal appropriations, the natural park facility is closed for the safety of visitors and park resources." This is the first week of the 100 or so federal workers, rangers, maintenance workers, and administrators at the Gateway National Research Area will not be getting a paycheck. When a tree fell across a trail near the South Pond last week, in the area just behind the visitor center, members of a group led by Don Repeat, director of the American Littoral Society Jamaica Bay program, members of his group had to clear the tree out. And of course, without proper supervision, this is threatening the habitats of birds and plants, and this is worrying Mr. Repe. Yeah, that's another thing. You have short cleanups. And that's going to be an issue because right now, you don't know if something bad happens. The shutdown continues. Things could just get worse over there. Yes, here we go. Here's the tree. And then there's trash. There's trash laying all over because no one's going to pick it up. That's what happens. This is interesting. I didn't see this story. We'll read this for a second. Because this is related to the Flushing Fresh Metals area. Okay, here's what we got. This was an updated story from January 3rd. A black Lincoln struck a 59-year-old woman. She was hit by the vehicle in downtown Flushing. This happened back on January 3rd. She was crossing Roosevelt Avenue by Main Street around 7:50 a.m. The driver stayed on the scene, and the victim was taken to Booth Memorial Medical Center. Right. One showed a broken and corned off escalator in the number 7 train entrance on the north side of the block where the crash happened. Assemblyman Ron Kim tweeted out, "Another pedestrian was struck today on Roosevelt Avenue by a car. For over a year, my constituents have asked the MTA to fix the broken escalator, which is causing people to cross the street to the other entrance." There is a new statement, but I don't really want to read it at the moment. Let's see. Yes, this is updated, right? Alright, here's the updated article. And as you see here, this escalator by Roosevelt Main Street is blocked off. Interesting. MTA said the escalator was only working 76% of last year. Back on Tuesday, the Chronicle did visit the site back on January 8th. That is interesting. Because as you know, I was there almost 2 weeks ago when we did the Murray Hill, Broadway, and Flushing Main Street Summit. Because I said to everybody that there is no need to do a station tour of the 7 train station because I've been down there numerous times, and because it's unsafe to show the platform. Trust me, it's unsafe because there is smoke all over the tunnel when 3 trains are there. You do not need to be there. Trust me. You just don't. But I didn't notice this. Yeah, okay. This is by Union and Main Street. And of course, it leads people to jaywalk, and that's what happens. And again, this is why I have to avoid the 7. This is exactly why. But if I move to Flushing, this is going to be interesting. Real interesting. That I may have to just enter from Roosevelt Avenue. Because I'm not going anywhere near Union Street. No. As no need to read further, but now we're going to talk about an incident that unfortunately happened here in my neighborhood, Fresh Meadows. So this happened at the mobile gas station at 18105 Horace Harding Expressway back on Saturday, January 5th. There is a video. There's a 57-year-old man behind the cash register. He demanded money at 6:50 p.m. They gave the gunman and another suspect $600 along with 15 packs of cigarettes. The robber was last seen walking north on 182nd Street. Cops describe the perp as a light-skinned man last seen wearing a gray or blue hooded sweater, dark colored pants, and black boots. Trying to see if I can pull up the video. I do apologize if I can't load it. I really do want to show you this video. Yes, here we go. So I didn't allow flash, so that's why I think we had an issue. Alright, so this is where it took place. If I am correct, I believe this is the mobile gas station by, let me think. Right. I believe close to where TD Bank is. Right, so that is the suspect wanted. Now we're going to talk about most crime down 2018, but rape and murder rates went up. And Queens is just being left out of everything out. Here we go. Increase of murders 62 as opposed to 50 in 2017. The borough's 137 shooting victims were exactly the same in 2017. Total shooting incidents dropped in the borough from 122 to 110. Right, no murders in the 111. Nothing reported in the 107. Alright, now we're going to talk about something even more dangerous. Crossing the street in our borough. And again, this is why Paddy Trachtenberg is being held liable for this. More people died in traffic crashes in Queens last year than Manhattan and the Bronx combined. 71 people died in accidents in 2018 in the borough of Queens, following a document that was released by the de Blasio administration. A woman who was walking across the street in Jackson Heights back on New Year's Eve was run over by an SUV making a right turn from 37th Avenue onto 81st Street. This marks the highest number of deaths since 2014 and a significant jump over last year's 62 fatalities. Of the 72, more than half, 40 in all, were pedestrians, also number one in the city. Overall, the report gives Mayor de Blasio bragging rights for his Vision Zero project. Now, why are the incidents in Queens getting worse? Queens Boulevard, and also the incidents on Northern Boulevard. So once again, Queens is just always left out. It always is. Went up back a little this year. Now I gotta read you this article because it's very important that we must read this. Do apologize. So I heard about this a couple weeks ago from somebody on Facebook that alerted me about this. New York City will put a new traffic signal in the southbound lane of a roundabout at 188th Street and 64th Avenue. State Senator Toby Stavinsky. The measure is tentatively scheduled to be implemented by the end of March. Additionally, the location will be getting new pedestrian islands and repainted traffic markings. Right, here we go. There were 35 accidents at 188th Street and 64th Avenue from the start of 2016 to December 17, 2018. Of course, you have the nearby Long Island Expressway. Now we're going to talk about development, because this is very important. We'll move this up. Alright, so Elmhurst community members protested at a construction of a Target at 40-31 82nd Street during a rally at Dunningham Triangle on Sunday afternoon, January 6th. Alright, so pretty much they were just protesting and talking about how they are annoyed that they don't want Target coming into the area. I can understand that. You know, anything being developed, they want to speak out, they should. I don't really want to get into it too much. I'm trying to get you shorter articles. Here we go. Little Neck. A long article. We'll just ignore that. Now, this is a crime issue. Here we go. This is, of course, a McDonald's in Howard Beach that's been seeing a lot of police reports being brought up in the past year. A large group of kids every day hang out after school and well into the evening hours. And, of course, officers are being sent there every single day. Only a matter of time before somebody gets hurt. So pretty much, this restaurant, I don't know where it is in Howard Beach. Somebody can let me know in the comments. I would appreciate that. But pretty much, This was a renovated McDonald's. It was an old school one. Then all of a sudden they added new amenities to it, which included automated ordering system and table service, which is meant to attract families but has been a bigger draw for school students instead. Phone number listed for the restaurant's service, and of course nobody from corporate did not respond to email inquiries. And the last important news is that the Queens District Attorney Richard Brown will not be seeking re-election this year. He will not be representing Queens after 2019. He will be retiring at the end of the year. Richard Brown, of course, a Democrat, was appointed in June of 1991 by then Governor Mario Cuomo. He was elected to a full term that November, and then he was re-elected 6 times. According to Brown, one of his goals was to elevate the standards of professionalism in the office by hiring people on merit, not political connections. Without question, we have seen overwhelmingly achieve the goal. Whatever success that I have attained over the years is due to large measure of the fact from the very beginning I surrounded myself with the most talented, capable, and dedicated professionals imaginable, men and women of exceptional ability and commitment. He has, of course, created the state's first drug, mental health, and veterans courts. Alright, so Brown was admitted to the Bars Association in October 1956. He graduated from New York University in Law. He led in legal positions for the state Senate Assembly leadership and at the 1967 New York State Constitutional Convention. He also served Mayor John Lindsay's legislative representative in Albany from 1970 to 1973. He has a very big resume. Brown was then appointed as a judge of the criminal court bench in September 1973, served 2 years before becoming the supervising judge of the Brooklyn Criminal Court. He was designated an acting state Supreme Court justice in January 1976 and was elected the following year to a full term on the Queens Supreme Court. He went back to Albany to serve as the chief legal advisor to Governor John Hugh Carey. Governor Hugh Carey. Brown then returned to the Supreme Court, and in 1982, Cuomo designated him as an associate judge of the Appellate Division's 2nd Department before naming him Queens District Attorney. Interesting. Our borough president is actually going to run for that position. Former Supreme Court Justice Gregory Lezik announced that he was running for the office in October. Councilman Rory Lantzman was kicked off this bid in late September, and all are Democrats. This is interesting, folks. I'm calling it right now. I'm really calling it. I think Melinda Katz is going to be our next Queens Attorney General. So therefore, that means Queensboro president might be a vacant seat come 2020. That would be very interesting. Indeed. So that being all said, that's going to wrap up this week's Queens Update. There will be more next week. So thank you all for watching. Until the next one, please take care.